film me.
You are ridiculous.
Don't do that either. I'm sick of you.
You're a nutcase.
I don't care, Luke.
Look at you.
You infuriate me as a human being.
Are you recording? Can I pick my nose?
Luke and Sassy.
Sassy.
Scott. Do you pick your nose as well a lot because of your nostril hair?
So no lie,
Because you got thick grey ones now.
I was thinking about sharing this morning. This is so weird how the universe works.
Now that's all I want to do is pick it.
As I'm standing in the shower, I'm like, I should share that. I think I'm a tough. I was going to say tough. See you next Tuesday. But I edited myself. You're all welcome. I feel that I'm pretty strong and tough, right? When we were at the Actor Awards, there was this tiny little, what I thought was a scratch right there under my nose, that when I touched it, like it buckled me to my fucking knees. Like I was like, oh my God, But then it's like chili when I eat really hot Nando's sauce. I have to have more. And so I kept touching it and it would hurt so much that I then went and looked and I'm like, maybe when I've trimmed my nose hair, I've cut myself. It was a tiny, I think, pimple or ingrown right on the corner of my nose. And this morning, I felt to come back.
Did you get it out?
No.
So when I have a pain like that, I'll get right into it and rip it out.
So it's not even finding it. It's so microscopic. It's so tiny right here that I'm like literally when I say buckle me to my fucking knees, like I'm like, oh my God.
But you are a pussy when it comes to that stuff. Like your mustache hair when it was going up like that at the awards show the other day, I was like, just rip it out. And you're like, absolutely not. Whereas
but
I
it's
love
not
the
about
feeling of ripping
ripping
the beard out. Oh, that feeling of getting a good, like every now and then, you know how you can have like a thicker hair? Oh, getting that one out.
So when we were talking in our brainstorm a couple of weeks ago, I had a little note and I must have had a brain fart in the middle of the night and a thought, and I wrote it into our page of how we collect all of our ideas. And it was the most fucked up thing that you've ever done in a nightclub. And I just wanted to share these things that I'm like, oh my God, Scott, you did that. But before I do, I've challenged the both of you the wildest thing you've ever done in a nightclub. And also, we've got a listener. So my job today is to listen, to rate if whatever you think was the wildest thing you ever did was actually wild or not. And then I might share 1 story, 2, 3, who fucking knows?
And you're going to have to top our ones, basically.
Well, let's say.
Well, yeah, we don't know for sure.
We don't know for sure.
Luke, do you want to begin?
I'll go first, but mine's like more disgusting on my end than it is going to be like, whoa, Luke's a wild party boy. Like, we're just going to be like, yuck.
Party boy. Yeah, you weren't a party boy.
No, like I enjoyed going out. I still do. I don't know. Maybe sometimes I'd rather play games at home with a group of people.
I love that.
I find that fun.
Fucking nerd.
So,
I'm all about that.
but my thing is I am a sucker for peer pressure. I always have been. But me with shots, like I'm not great at doing shots. I don't like the taste of alcohol either. Like I'd drink to either than get drunk. Like I'd rather have a can of Coke than I would
Me
like
too.
10 beers.
We're the same.
Right? So
Nerds.
So shots would make me vomit. But I'll tell people, I'm like, oh, if I do that tequila shot, I'll vomit. And they're like, oh, shut up, I'll get you one. And then I'm like, I can't not have the tequila shot now, right? Because I'll look like a pussy. But I would vomit on cue. So most of the time when it would happen, I'll just have it and then just vomit on the ground and then I'd be fine again, whatever. But every now and then I'd have that shot and I can't vomit on the ground and I'd be like, just concentrate, Luke. Like, you'll get through it. You won't vomit this time. But it always ends up vomiting. And I remember this once and I've just gone, like I think I'm going to be good this time. I turn around and then straight away my cheeks have just gone, like it's coming, like it's already halfway in my mouth. And I've just had to let it out. And this would happen quite a lot, right? And I'd be kicked out of places all the time. And this person, I can still see him with their denim jacket on. I've just opened my mouth and it was like, you see me vomit on a plane. My vomit is like projectile, like comes with force.
That's true. No, and a lot of it.
And I have just vomited. I vomit on people. That would be my, what? I don't even know what this segment is.
How many times
The wildest thing you ever did in a nightclub, Luke.
It's like, it's pretty wild that I vomited on a lot of people. I'd ruin a lot of people's nights by just vomiting on them.
Okay.
And it'd be a lot.
so
And they'd be like,
never
why?
do shots
And
with
they would always be
Luke.
like, why would you do that? I'm like,
I
I'm going home.
decided to, yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
right.
wild Luca boy.
Okay, wild Luca boy in nightclub. Wild that story is. Go, Mike. I want to hear yours.
Mine isn't actually one I did. But I do remember this so well from my early 20s, and it was a first date with a girl. I was going on this date with a girl, and we were just talking, and she just told me this story where one night she was out at a nightclub and she really needed to wee, but understandably, like, the line for a girl's toilet is often a lot longer than a boy's toilet.
And I always say to them, it's safe to go in the guys, or I'll walk you into the guys and like let you into the cubicles
Well,
because it's so crazy.
Unfortunately, you weren't there that night because rather than wait in line, and this was like a packed nightclub on the dance floor,
Yeah.
she was wearing a skirt. She told me she just pulled her undies over.
On your date, she's done this.
No. She told me this story on the date, right?
Oh.
Pulled her undies over while everyone was dancing and just kept dancing and weed on the ground while everyone was dancing. And people must have just, if it did touch anyone, if it was
would have.
splashed, they maybe thought it was just like someone spilling their drink or something.
Did
How
you
does-
love it when she told you that?
No, I couldn't believe
Why
that.
are you into piss play?
No, I just wanted to see if Mike was.
No,
Seems
I'm
like
not into
you were
piss play.
excited
No.
by that.
No, I was excited by Mike's answer.
Like, I thought it was
Yeah, what did you say to her
crazy.
when she told you
Oh, I
that?
think I was just like, that's crazy.
What a way to catch a guy
Like 10
telling
years
that story.
later, I'm telling the story on the podcast, on this podcast, being like, that was fucked.
Have you pissed in a club?
Yeah.
You have.
I've shut myself in a nightclub before.
Oh,
In the toilet or like in your
Before I've gone to the toilet, when it's like wants to come, it comes. Wow. But that's not a story I'm going to tell today. We're going to listen to who?
This is from Ellie. It's a little bit different, but let's hear what she had to say.
Okay, cool.
I was dancing in the mosh pit and I had my hair out, long and curly, dancing in the mosh pit with my girlfriend, and I kept feeling this tugging like on my hair. And obviously being in a mosh pit, people are close and, you know, you brush past people or you might accidentally bump into someone. But I just kept feeling this tug of my hair and it just kept getting pulled back and further. And it got to a point where it was really, really hurting. And I turned around and my hair was matted in this huge big clump around this guy's nipple piercing.
So he's just
why?
dancing.
Oh, he's getting like weird nipple fetish
There's
play.
nipple play in that too.
That
Why
reminds me
didn't he
of-
go, your whole fucking ponytail is caught in
Surely
my
that's getting to the point
nipple
of
ring?
ripping your nipple out.
Yeah.
Well, then it's the same as what Chaperone the
That's
other
what I
week.
was going to say.
Yeah.
Well, I tore Marcus's once.
Oh.
It got caught in my tooth, his nipple ring. And I leant back and his whole body, and he's a big guy, came forward with my tooth and tore him.
Like his nipple came off?
No, it didn't come off, but it came close. So they're really cute stories. And this is like how, you know, when I had the stories that just started to flood back as soon as I thought of like wildest thing I've ever done in a nightclub, there were 3 that like really stood out. And I think I'm going to share all 3 of them.
Oh, we're happy with
try
just
and,
one.
To try and match each of you.
Oh, who's this most? Or who would you most likely this story be that they would do in a club?
So, Luke, yours reminds me of, there's a notorious club called Revolver, which I used to go to, and you'd be there for sometimes 2 days straight, right, and not leave.
I'd
It's
go
here,
for like 20 minutes and leave.
it's here in Melbourne. Real kind of like, think underground, even though it's upstairs. And we used to say that it's not the stairway to heaven, stairway to hell. And one time I'll never forget it. I was really into myself, absolutely fucking buck sideways, right? And there was a pool table up there, and it wasn't really people to play pool, but I got on there and I was really feeling myself. So I started doing yoga, and the whole club was like, this is outstanding. So I remember, right, everyone standing around in the nightclub, just like dancing on whatever fucking beats, right, watching me off my fucking head, sitting there, and I end up in a meditation pose, and people were like, this is incredible. It was very performative. And then, this is what makes me think of you, I went, and you don't even know when you're that sideways, the power chucking, I started going, And I was vomiting on people's faces, but because there were lines of people, like it was like a mosh pit, people were standing behind people, so they couldn't get away, they couldn't move. So I just kept vomiting on people. Anyway, that was one wild story. Like I vomited on probably 60 people, and they were trying to get away, and I was like, it was so bad.
That's so disgusting.
Then there was, this one's just fun, I think, and it was RIP. Avicii was playing in this club in Vegas, and Marcus and I really wanted to go, and I couldn't like figure out how to get in there. And we met some like in Vegas, you meet people that are like, oh, I'm the host of a nightclub, like come. We met this person, it's like, I can get you a booth, I can get you a booth. You know, and we're like, okay, cool. So we rock up, and the guy's there, and he's a hustler, and I think it's like a kind of thing they do in Vegas. And he said, I can get you a booth. We're like, okay. And it was like something ridiculous. It was like $6,000. And we're like, and he's like, there's only one left. And we're like, okay. So we go in, we pay for the booth. Just me and Marcus are sitting there, right? And then every other booth's full. We got the top tier one. And they said to me, you can do whatever you want. And I was like, and I take that fucking literal. Right? And they're bringing bottles of Belvedere and we're partying. And I see like some bogan Aussies. I'm like, get up here. And then I bring them into the booth, right? And they're like, I can't believe this. Like, thanks so much. I'm like, drink whatever you like, right? And then it was somebody like, I can't remember who it was, but it was like iced tea had arrived, and the club had said, can he share the booth with you? Like, we haven't got any more, and seeing as there's only the two of you and your new friends who can go, can Ice T and his friends come in? I was like, nah, fucking he can fuck off, right? Yeah. And so we are heaving. And I was always I had like small man syndrome. And I remember seeing this chandelier and Avicii's playing, and I'm like, I want to fucking climb to the chandelier. So I get these people down on the dance floor to lift me up and throw me up to the chandelier, and I'm holding onto it, and I'll never forget Avicii's going like this, playing like this is fucked up. I was sideways and security underneath me going, get down, get down, and I had to drop. And then my third wildest, and I think I've topped you guys already.
Yeah.
Philadelphia, one night, we go partying, we go into this nightclub, line up for ages, get to security, and I was like, hey, how you going? And he was the most arrogant, rudest person ever. And I was like, you're acting like you've got the worst life and worst job. And he was like, oh, it's so bad. He's like, now that I've met you, you've made it even worse. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's an invitation for me to up it and make your day and night even worse. Anyway, I get into the club, and I'm like, this is boring as batshit. And I'm like, he's still on my shoulder. And I'm like, how can I make his night worse? And it was like a godsend. It was like one of those moments where everything stops around you and there's like this bright light in front of you. And it's like come, take this. And the fire alarm, and that's literally like different to the ones in Australia. It was like, just pull this button. And I just pulled it down, and this full like club goes into like fire alarm mode. Everyone's like screaming, freaking out, runs out onto the street, like fire brigade, like it's commotion out on the street. I'm like, I've made his night so much worse. He thought it was bad just meeting me. Like I just fucking upped it. And I remember looking at him, and I was just smiling like a little psycho, like with all this chaos around us. Anyway, they were my 3 wildest nightclub stories. You're welcome.
Well, all of those I think are like worse than the one. What do you think, Luke, actually?
Were they wild though?
Yours? No. I vomited once when I had a tequila shot.
Scott the other day was saying how you need to apologise to mum. And you probably need to apologise for a lot of things, right?
I have though.
Yeah, and it had me thinking, do I need to apologise to mum about anything? No. But does she need to apologise to me about something? Yes. So what's going to happen?
Harsh.
It's okay. It's okay, Scott. So what's going to happen, you're going to call mum and apologise for something.
Yeah, because...
And then we're going to ask for an apology for me.
There was something that when we were talking about this, I distinctly, and it was when we're talking, I think, about female body parts or whatever, the other week, or like pregnancy. And it made me remember I once said something to Mum that was just so out of line and so unacceptable.
And that doesn't come to a shock for
that
us.
I'm like, I owe her an apology for that.
I don't know if mine's an apology, but we'll get there.
Okay, we're going to call our Mum. Hello, Mum.
Hi,
How are you?
Scott. Good.
Yes, Luke's here too.
Hi, Luke.
Hello, Mother.
How are you?
Hey, we're good. We're just going to cut straight to the chase. The other day we were talking about, female body parts actually, but then it reminded me of something where I was way out of line with you, and I thought, oh my God, what a shithead I was. And I'm going to retell the story, and then I'm going to give you something.
Will Mum remember the story?
Probably. We were living obviously at your house. You had come to the back door. I think you had asked me to help bring the washing in. Or not the washing in, sorry, the grocery shopping in. And I was just being bratty. And I had waited for you to go and get all of the bags from the car. And the very last trip, I had come up to you and I was like, do you want help or not? And you went and you said, I don't need your help now or something. And I said to you, what's wrong with you? Are you on your period?
Oh, that sounds like what would have happened, Scott.
And I think you slapped me, and I saw in the moment you broke and shut the door and just walked off from me. Now, 30 years later, I'm calling Mum to say I'm really sorry.
I accept your apology. I always do, but I don't remember slapping you.
I'm used to slapping all the time.
But do you remember? Do you remember that moment where I went, "What's wrong with you in your period?"
Yes, you would have said that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, my
That's
bad.
okay. Forgiven. You have no idea what it's like to go through a period.
No, I don't, because I am a man.
That's right.
Well, now it's my turn, Mum. This one's a little bit different. It's me needing an apology.
What?
Really?
No, to be honest, I don't know if this requires an apology. It's more of an understanding of why you maybe said it. We never really spoke about it again, so I just want to hear what you think. Do you remember the time, and I still don't know why you thought I was in the wrong, because you do this all the time.
Oh, calm down. It's
all the time. Jeepers.
I know,
Yeah.
Mum. I know.
No, let me finish. But once you're finished in the shower and you put your towels over a shower screen, we all do it, right?
That's what we used to do.
No.
Correct.
You guys used to drop them on the floor.
No.
Yes.
You always wanted us to put them on a shower hook randomly.
Yeah, but she's saying, but you used to drop them on the floor.
Yes, but this one time I put mine on the shower screen, and Mum, it must have been a hard day. Probably Scott's spoken to you rudely during the day, and you came up to me and you said, if you ever put a towel on the shower screen again, I'm going to leave skid marks in your bed. And I just want to understand why you said that to me.
No, that's not correct, Luke.
There it is.
Correct me then.
No, it's
Go,
similar,
Mum.
half truth. You left a lot
poo.
marks in the toilet.
No, but it was
And I
after the
said,
Yes.
towel.
clean
Mum.
up the toilet after you go,
I recall that.
or else.
That
No, but
makes
it was
more
after the
sense.
towels.
No,
it
it doesn't.
wasn't
Yours
after the
doesn't make
towel.
sense. Mum does. Mum doesn't forget either.
All right, fine. I left skid marks in the toilet, but what? You were going to go shit in my bed?
No, she was matching your
I was
complacency.
matching yours. Yes.
Yeah.
Scott, you had your chance,
I
but
don't think
I
owe you an
apologise to Mum.
apology
She
for that.
don't.
I just
no, she
need an
doesn't. You don't.
understanding there. You gave me an understanding of why you wanted to poo in my bed. I get
Because
it
you were
now.
leaving skid marks on her toilet bowl all the time and probably never cleaning it after yourself. Which, Mum, however many years later, here I am in his house. Do you think he's fucking cleaned up anything? No,
Yes.
you've got spaghetti in your kitchen sink.
Hardly
Clean
any.
I know, Mum. Clean up.
I'm
up as you
over
go.
this.
All right, bye, Mum. I
Just
love
say
you.
sorry, Mum. It's
Bye,
easy.
love you both.
Bye. Sorry.
Bye.
Luke. And Sassy.
Scott.
Really big milestone for me in my life, and I feel like I have a lot, which is so egotistical, I think. Or maybe I'm just self-aware of milestones. I don't know. Or maybe I just carry on about them more than other people. However, 2 days ago, I hit 5 years of not drinking alcohol.
Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Well done.
You're the worst person. And the reason why I'm bringing this today, which we've only ever talked about once, I'm sure, is...
But people are always very fascinated to find out you don't drink.
And in that, I've received, because somebody on a podcast recently spoke about me and said, oh, did you know Sassy Scott doesn't drink alcohol? And from that, all of these messages have come to me and are asking me to go on shows and podcasts to share my journey. And I was like, sounds like people are interested. Why don't I share it on our podcast instead? So you may or may not know, but I chose to stop drinking alcohol. And people, like you said, always are like, wait, what? How do you do the career you do? How do you go to parties and free will and dance and whatever? Like, what do you mean you're not drinking? And it's fascinating to me that people still believe you need alcohol to be a version of yourself.
Yeah. Well, why don't you take everyone on the journey? Let's go back 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whenever you want, of times like you enjoyed alcohol.
Loved.
Right?
Yes.
Your favourite drink, I still remember, you loved your Jim Beam.
No, that was 20 years ago, 25 years ago, maybe
we can
30.
start there.
Yeah.
What was your drink of choice in the end?
In the end, it was what's it called? A fucking Dark and Stormy, but what I would do a splash of Belvedere vodka on top too. So Dark and Stormy was a spiced rum, ginger beer, fresh lime. I'd put fresh mint in it and a splash of vodka. Oh, heaven.
And then prompting to giving up drinking, was it based on bad behaviour of drinking, or was it another higher being telling you one day to give up drinking?
It was both.
Let's talk to that.
I watched religiously, like you watch SpongeBob SquarePants.
Loved SpongeBob.
I religiously watched In the Actors Studio. In the Actors Studio was this really old, quirky man. I believe he worked in the theatre department of NYU, New York University, in the drama arts department. And he would have superstar special guests, right, that would come in and give their time. Like we're talking Angelina Jolie's and Anne Hathaway's, or, you know, like A-list actors would come in to talk about the craft of acting, their journey, because it was filled with everyone, like all these scholars and people wanting to be, you know, successful working actors one day. And I was just always fascinated. And I'm not lying when I say this. I saw myself in so many of the people that he often interviewed, and the ones that I connected to were the ones that said, my life changed when I stopped drinking, or my life changed when I became sober. And I used to clock it so easily and go, that'll be my story one day. And I just knew it would be, because in that, there was confusion with my sexuality and call it identity, or like truth to self. I come from a fucking Australian family where every social part of our life and growing up was drinking. I, as a young gay kid that fucking was rough and tough, you know, thought I was drinking from the age of 14, like on every weekend, drinking a bottle of Jim Beam, passing out drunk, whatever. That was standard for millennials, standard for a lot of us. And then partied forever, right? Like I was a party boy, but in a fun way. I pushed the envelope, sure, a lot of times, but that wasn't different for me or the people I was hanging around with. So I kind of knew there was this connection that, there was this thing inside me that knew one day I would stop drinking, but there was never a rule around it or like a goal. I just knew that one day I would stop.
Let's get to that moment then. So you're what, 40 now? 5 years ago, 35 years old. What prompted it then?
I want Luke to watch the guy who interviews in the Actors Studio, because I'd much preferred that style.
All right, talk about... So
No,
Scott,
I'm
at the
joking.
latest
I'm joking.
Oscars, what
Calm
movie
down.
were you up for Best
I'm
Supporting
joking.
Actor?
And
Is that what they asked? Because I can't.
Can you remember the last drink you had? Or the last time you drank?
I can, and it was one of the hardest lessons I've ever endured in life. And I don't say it's an error or a mistake or a regret. I don't look at anything. There always have been lessons. I was starting to get to a point where sometimes I would say, I don't remember that. Like, and it was honestly like, what? That didn't happen. And it could be something funny or like really like bad or so. And I was like, I had no recollection. And I remember I had a mate that used to be like, don't know what you're talking about, didn't happen. And you'd be like, whatever, man. Like, what an excuse. It's like when you watch The Housewives and they're like they've got like temporary amnesia. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't say that. And a mate used to say to me, I don't remember that at all. And I would think, you're just getting away with bad behavior. You're just like using that as an excuse. And then there were moments, and I'm not saying lots, but there were moments where I legitimately had no recollection of what had happened. And so fast forward one night, I was at a dinner table with really close people, and I had been drinking. A lot of us all had been drinking throughout the day and then got into dinner. And a number of events started to happen. And I remember clocking them, and it just started to cause real friction within me and the rest of the table. And it was so uncomfortable for everybody, even people in the restaurant. And me and really close friends. And I was so disgusted by what a couple of people at the table were saying and doing and how they were acting. But then nobody else was at all moved by what their behavior. So I was like, what the fuck is going on? Why are we allowing that to happen? And I'm the bad guy kind of thing, right? It blew up, and it was so bad that, Luke, you remember, I took a break from the world around me afterwards. It was such a hard, terrible lesson, because the next day, the pain I endured and went through and had put other people through, I couldn't reconcile. They were like, that didn't happen. And what I thought had happened, everyone was like, we don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, fuck, and that's my moment, right? And there was people that I really admired and loved and looked up to. And I'd said, I'm not going to drink again. And I didn't put like rules on it, like I'm not going to drink for a week or I'm never going to drink again. I just went, I'm not drinking. Like, what the fuck? And I went and removed myself from life, call it that. Luke even picked me up, and I was like, I have fucked up. And you took me to an Airbnb, and I stayed there. I don't even know how long I stayed there for, but I sat with my thoughts and the hurt that I was experiencing, that I'd put other people through. And a lot of it was driven from alcohol. And I went, this is my moment. This is me going, I'm connecting to all those people that said, you know, when I stopped, my life changed. I was like, this is that moment. I'm going to stop. The bitter sweetness that I want to share, maybe it was 4 months, maybe 5 months later, Luke and I blew up online, and the biggest opportunities started to flood our way. And I was like, and I still say to people, it's not a coincidence that happened. It's directly because I stopped drinking and I was able to be far more present, maybe a nicer kind of person, or more accountable to myself, a whole lot of things. And so I say it wasn't a coincidence that Luke and I are where we are after I stopped drinking, because it was a conscious choice. And I guess the hardest part to all of that was a couple of years later, I had found out that the things that I accused some people at the table, that I'd accused them of doing and saying, that they completely rejected and banded together and went, you've made that up, Scott. And the rest of the table were like, you're a psycho. Like, why would you make that up, Scott? Why would you put that on them? I found out years later that actually it all did happen, and they chose to just gaslight the shit out of me and pretend that I made it all up. So I went through this, I had this traumatic experience. I had to accept that things that I abused people for were made up in my own head, stop drinking, almost lose really close friendships and relationships, to then going, okay, I'm completely changing my lifestyle. And then greatness came to me, which I accepted. But then I had to accept that I was actually, unfortunately, right all along. What they were saying and doing actually did happen. That was the bittersweetness of, I guess, the success and the health that came with choosing to stop drinking.
And there's a lot of people out there that, for different reasons, give up drinking. It might be based on a story like yours, whereas other people, it can be very debilitating, like an addiction to alcohol.
Yep.
But you giving up the alcohol and not putting time to it and being like, one day I might drink again, whatever. Those early days when you did give up drinking, what were some of the challenges? Like you spoke about it earlier, being in Australian culture, a lot of activities or parties are around alcohol. What were those early challenges, rocking up to a party and not drinking?
I think in 5 years, there's been 3 times where I've gone, oh, I could murder a shot right now. I could smash a glass of Pinot. Like, there hasn't been many moments where I felt I wanted one. In those first few months, I actually found the first year or two the easiest because I'm very definitive. You know that. I'm black or white. I'm not a fence sitter. So when I make my mind up, I'm made. But Marcus really helped me to understand, to not say I've stopped drinking. I don't drink alcohol. So like you're kind of taking, like, not putting all of the power on you having a drink with friends always has to involve alcohol. I can still now enjoy and get excited by drinks. It just hasn't got alcohol in it. You can have 0%. And actually, I remember one time I nearly popped. This was probably the hardest time. Marcus and I went down fucking Portsea fucking pub or whatever it was. And it was not long after, and I asked for like a non-alcoholic drink or a mocktail, and they're like, no, we don't do them. And I was like, so what do you have that's non-alcoholic? And they went, you can have a lemonade or an orange juice. And I went, do you want me to sit at the fucking kids' table too? Like, it was really, I felt separated. And it was like, this is so ridiculous. I'm trying to, I thought, be functioning and involved, but like it was like venue or industry or society wasn't kind of really catering to me.
And that's like, there'd be a lot of people out there that for other reasons, for a period of time, they can't drink, from being either pregnant or maybe going through an illness or being on medication.
Yes.
That, dare I say, that's hard for people who aren't consciously giving up alcohol for their life in terms for the future, but for a current period. So dare I say, what advice do you have to people for those early moments that do want to give up drinking, and talking about the challenges and getting through that?
For me, there is no rule to it. I haven't set a goal or a task or a definitive deadline, so there's no pressure on it. I remember it was the same as when I gave up smoking, and I went, I didn't have a smoke yesterday, so I'm not having one today. And as quick as an urge comes on, it goes as fast if you sit with it. So if you just, instead of reacting in the moment of an urge, you'll probably find 2 minutes later, it's completely gone, the want to drink. And I mean, I'm not battling, and I wasn't battling an addiction and a need to, to function with alcohol. And I don't take my hat off. I'm very empathetic towards people facing addiction issues. But I guess for people that want to stop, find the why. Like I swear that it is no coincidence that my life is full now because I stopped drinking. I make far better conscious decisions. I pick and choose whether I want to involve myself. Whereas back in the days when I was drinking and I heard somebody say, no, Mariah Carey won the Emmy in 2001, not 2002. I'd be like, bullshit, bitch. Like, I just would give my energy and involve myself in everything and anything where it wasn't even needed.
Is that your biggest difference then?
Yeah, intentional. I'm far more intentional with where I apply and insert and put myself and my time.
When did you realize that giving up alcohol was more than just giving up alcohol?
Yeah. Well, for me, I didn't want to lose what I had, which was my family, which was Marcus, which was friends. You know, I knew straight away, a couple of months in, when I saw a hint of being able to repair relationships, that's when I knew that that's where the power of it was. Them call it 6 to 12 months in, people were absolutely gobsmacked and blown away that I was still on a Saturday night standing with them and still not drinking, people were like, oh my God, your commitment to this was quite fascinating. And then, you know, I often found people going, well, I'll stop, and so you should stop with me. And the difference here was I never put my non-drinking onto anyone. And I find a lot of people want a partner in crime. They want someone else to validate them. So they go, if I stop for a month, will you stop for a month? Or let's do it together. And I'm a big believer in, right, like you take responsibility fucking for yourself. Don't look for somebody else to get you there. You have to get yourself there.
Me being around you all the time, there's a common thing people will always say to you. Like, I take my hat off to you, but I'll never be able to do that. Do you have a message to those people, the best thing you've said to one of those people where they clock it and go, maybe I could do it? What's a bit of a parting message there?
It's a mindset. And because I watched that show and I resonated with the story and I went, that will be my story one day, I was able to accept it when the moment in time came and I went, oh, it's my moment. I know I've prepared for this my whole life, that one day this is going to be my story. So it was easy for me to accept. I find those people that always say it to me, you're right. They've got their toe in the water. They fantasize, they want to one day stop drinking, but they're just not ready to accept it. So that's the truth in it, meaning it is your story. It's just not your time yet. So just sit with it and know that one day when your target comes up, take your shot, because that's your moment to go, oh, hang on, I'm going to take it and I'm going to stop. And it'll be easier if you just look for your moment, or no, not look for it, wait for your moment.
And you're 5 years in.
Yeah.
Does it get easier? Does it feel more normal to say you don't drink? Or does it still feel like the first day when you didn't drink?
Like, it's just so not even part of my life. I don't even think of like really alcohol or that I need it or want it, or it's just like, it's so much easier, but I'm still okay to go, do you want a fucking shot of tequila when you come over to my house, right, for a party? Like I don't put my non-drinking onto you. I take responsibility for myself. And yeah, no, like 5 years in, it's evolution. I feel like I've just been able to just go to the next phase and I don't need it and want it in my life.
One final thing from me. Do you miss hangovers?
Do you know what? It still fascinates me. This is the one thing of, call it long-term alcohol abuse. It's what it was. I was drinking a lot from a young age, like a lot of people. And when I say a lot, it was binge drinking, right? Like weekends, I'd get absolutely fucking sideways, and every now and then there'd be a Wednesday night, you know, fucking like random blowout. I still feel my fingers. Every now and then I clock it, maybe once a week. I hold my hands and it feels like I'm holding, I don't know whose hands I'm holding. The inflammation that I think I experienced from drinking alcohol, right? For so long, the hands that I was used to are now no longer there. So the inflammation's gone. That's still 5 years in. I'm like, they just don't feel like your fingers and hands, because for so much a part of my life, my hands felt a different way because they were inflamed from alcohol.
Wow.
That's still the most obvious change for me.
Do you think the principles of not drinking alcohol are applicable to maybe other listeners or other people who struggle with maybe different addictions? Do you think it's similar from what you know?
I'm going to say yes, but I'm going to say yes based on something that no longer serves you. And you're aware of if something's serving you or no longer serving you, maybe debilitating, maybe getting in the way of you being the best version of yourself. Now, also, I'm fucking aware that, you know, we disrupt and distract and self-sabotage, and that's fucking pathological, or right, deep subconscious, why we do act the way we do in certain scenarios, blah, blah, blah. However, I'm lucky that alcohol, I was acutely aware of a version of you when you were doing it to a version of when, like, you kind of weren't. So I was able to really understand that it wasn't serving me anymore. There was no, like, the negative outweighed the positive. So if there is something that you're doing in your everyday or once a week or your life that's no longer serving you, yeah, it's probably time for you to look for your moment to go, hang on, I'm not doing that anymore. Now that's also separated from people that have addiction, the mental, which is a, sometimes generational, passed down, mental health issue, or based on a trauma or whatever, right? Environment. I don't want it to be confused with that. However, if something's no longer, serving you, I think, you can clock it and go, this isn't for me anymore and I'm going to stop.
How about all the friendships and relationships that you have that were based around alcohol?
Yeah.
How does that go moving forward?
It's fine.
Do you miss your relationships with people when you were drunk?
No, I accepted that I had been there, done it all. And people are like, but don't you want to? Don't you wish? Everyone loves to do that. And I can categorically, and I do my hand on my heart when I say it, I've been there, done it, and 10 times bigger than you. Right? I truly do believe that there's nothing else that alcohol and partying like that could bring to my life that I haven't already topped and experienced. So I'm like, I'm comfortable accepting that I've had that part of my life with alcohol.
So 15, 16, 17-year-old Scott, I don't know how old you were watching In the Actors Studio. Did you ever truly think that you would do what these actors were doing and maybe never drink? And are you proud of that you were able to do it?
Yes, and yes. I knew that I resonated with these special human beings and went, oh my God, there's something new that I'm connected to. And I knew that one day I would have a great story to tell and that I would connect with. It's not a coincidence that my life changed and was full when I gave up drinking alcohol. And I truly feel in the last 5 years, what you and I have achieved, what I have personally, family, career, all of it, it's not a coincidence that now my life's so full.
And I need to say thank you for something.
To me?
Yeah. I've always got a designated driver.
That's true. And you're a cheap fuck and don't ever want to pay for an Uber.
Your family's fucked. No, your family's fucked. Scott, we have the same family.
Fucked up families.
I think ours trumps. Everyone's.
Not always.
Yeah. I'm yet to go, their family's so much worse than ours. That story. Oh my God. But we're going to give it a try.
Ruth sends in this week. Let's take a listen.
Struth.
Hi, Luke and Sassy Scott.
Hey,
it's
Ruth.
Ruth here again,
She's
the
Irish.
East Coast of Ireland. So this is about my mother again. Standing at a bus stop one day, starts talking to this lady. She didn't really know her, kind of knew her to see. Noticed something on her face, like just under her nostril. Thought it was like, I don't know what she thought it was,
Booger.
a piece of something, like, I don't know what she thought it was. But instead of telling the lady, which she didn't need to anyway, but instead of telling her that there was something on her face, my mother leans over and with her nail picks off the thing off the lady's face. And it starts bleeding profusely. Turns out it was a frickin' mole. And the woman had to go to hospital and get it stitched. So my mother was like, well, saved her, the cost of getting it removed by a professional, didn't it?
It's so arrogant of that generation to be like, well, I saved her the cost. Like,
I still remember at Woolworths.
oh,
when
Ruth, thank you for sharing that.
That
That's
was funny. When Mum went to Woolworths once and there was a lady who had a smaller arm and Mum asked if her arm was sore because she wasn't using the arm for bagging everything, and Mum drew all this attention to it and Mum felt awful once she realised.
Awful.
Have people gone to rip off your birthmark ever?
Oh, no, but I get told at least once a day in my DM, Scott, you need to go get that black thing on your forehead checked out. I'm just being a kind follower, but I think you've got cancer. And I'm like, it's a fucking birthmark. Jesus fucking Christ. All right. Thank you so much. Love it or list it. I don't know. Oh, my God, love it or list it. We met one of the guys the other week.
But I thought he was just from the block.
Is he from the block?
Yeah. He's Neil Whittaker, right?
I've never watched the block.
He's the judge from the block, or was on the block the judge for ages. The older guy?
Like I don't know.
That's when you
Also,
said
I've
Love It
no
or
idea
List It.
what
I was like, oh, is this again where you like, but you also sang, for other people, this is very niche, Steph McIntosh when you saw her, and then you started saying, I love your song, All Seats Taken, and started singing and you went, that's Beck Cartwright.
Okay, sometimes I get confused. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Luke and Sassy.
Sassy. Scott.
So Luke and I think it's really important that when you go to somebody's house, you say, thanks for having us. So we would like to say a big thank you to the Wurundjeri, Woi Wurrung and Bunurong peoples of the southeastern Kulin Nation, the land on which this podcast is recorded on.
Always was, always will be Aboriginal land.